Hello and welcome to the first of what I hope will be many dual commentaries between myself and Elementary here on Project Onyx. Enjoy.
I think what we wanted to talk about today was kind of a follow up to your commentary. We were talking about competitive play and ranks and how it's so vital to what Halo is all about. And the gameplay that you chose with it was just so perfect because you you were talking about the necessity for ranks and how people like to play differently. And in the background, it's us just destroying these two guys who have either never played Halo before or were just completely clueless. So it really, really highlighted how important that idea is that we get ranks, so we can actually take into our own hands like the type of experience we want to have.
Yeah, I mean, I would for sure agree, especially in like I think one of the points that I hit on too in that video was about equalizers, how like other games have things that sort of equalize the playing field just built into the game, you know? There's like kill streaks or like bolt shots or things that'll give you an edge on your opponent just by like equipping them or using them, but in a legendary Slayer BR game, it's really just you and your BR, and if your team is that much, if there's that drastic of a skill gap, it's like, you know, there's no equalizer there. It's just going to be, there's really not a lot of a chance for another team that just doesn't have the experience there, you know?
Exactly, and that's where the roots came from. It's like the equalizer in Call of Duty or Battlefield or any of those other games is the mechanics and the guns that are in the game, so that lesser players can use weapons that require less skill and you can still get a kill. But like if you're better, maybe there's a different weapon that you can get a kill faster with. But in Halo, that's not what it was about. It was about equal. It's an arena shooter. There were equal starts, and the equalizer was the fact that you were supposed to play people of the same skill level. Like that was the entire purpose behind the ranking system, is so that everyone could have fun, regardless of what level that you played at. And so that the gameplay was perfect because you sniped the guy while I was jumping on his head, just screwing around like that. That should never happen in Halo. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting to see the way the game has sort of changed focus, I guess, especially with Halo 4. Like the way the voting meta works in doubles. Like you go into a lobby and you have to size the guys up. Like you sometimes you'll go in and you'll see Sniper XX17 Superman. You're like, oh, okay, it's him and his guest. Like these guys are obviously just hanging out, trying to have fun. The guy's got his tool instructions an AR or suppressor, and he's a super negative KD, and you know, okay, this guy isn't really taking Halo that seriously. He's trying to have some fun with his buddy, and this is the only place to go to do that. Like they went into matchmaking, they saw the team doubles, play with your friend, like one guy, perfect. That's what we want to do.
Yeah.
And then there's the team of the two SR-130s with a super high KD with battle rifles, and they've got a lot of experience, and they're going in as an experienced team of two, trying to match other teams of two and to get better, to work as a team. And those two sets of people have no business playing each other.
Yeah, I mean, in CSR, obviously, like Halo 4 has a ranking system, but CSR doesn't really do its job with such a low population. It's almost impossible. With 300 people in a playlist, you can't find specific matches that sort of fit that mold. But which is funny because I think I've been playing Halo 3 ranked a little bit more recently, and if I play like Lone Wolves, sometimes there's only 500 people in Lone Wolves, but it'll find other level, you know, level 7 or 10 or whatever. Like it'll find people somewhat close, but you know, Halo 4's whatever the differentiation is, like the background criteria for finding matches is definitely a little different.
Yeah, it really does not work as effectively, because you're right. Even with Halo 3's population is, I mean, the same if not lower than Halo 4's, and you're right. If you go in, you might have to wait a while, but you'll still get a match with like a decent skill spread.
Yeah.
And it'll be realistic too, because that rank is what you have. There's no like hidden background skills and information or experience that they don't take into consideration. Like your doubles rank is your doubles rank, or your lone wolves rank is your lone wolves rank, and then you'll go in and play other people who have the same amount of experience in that playlist. So it's cool. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see how the mentality has sort of shifted coming from Halo 3 to Halo 4. Like in Halo 3, the big hoopla was all about matchmaking. Like you getting your 50s, that was cool. Like that was difficult to do. Not everyone had 50s. And grinding through matchmaking, playing competitively, like consistently matching teams that were challenging you always and making you improve. That was what it was all about. And then when you needed a break from that craziness, like you'd go into custom games, set up rocket hogs, set up zombies, like whatever, and just screw around and blow the hell out of each other. And like that was why it was fun. And then it's weird to see coming to Halo 4 where it's almost the opposite. Like matchmaking is kind of, at least for me, that's where I go to like screw around. Like that's where I go to hang out with like you, Major, everyone else who likes to just go in and just pub stomp in matchmaking, because half the time you go in and you just play like the biggest noobs, and sometimes they're guests, sometimes they're just not supposed to be playing you at all, but that's how it turns out.
Well, here's the thing,
and
though.
Then custom games, on the other hand, sorry, you go ahead. I'm gonna finish that in a second.
Are you sure? Okay. And then there's the thing also is that like we still, even like me and Major and stuff, we still run up against teams that are vastly better than us. So it's like I was saying in the video, it's like a food chain thing where, yeah, you'll run up against all these noobs and everything. I've never really experienced that thing you're talking about where you consistently are matched against players that are your skill level, that you can kind of work and incrementally get better at. I'm consistently matched against players that are either worse than me or better than me, and there's not a lot of middle ground because I'm just kind of an intermediate player, you know.
Yeah, and there's no, you don't have any base to build your like fundamental skills at each like level of play to build up from. Like you can't take an intermediate level game, play other intermediate level players and be like, okay, they did this and this, I did this and this. Obviously, I've seen some better players. I've seen how they would counter that sort of move. I'll play it differently next time. And then you go into the next intermediate level game and you do that and you get better and you beat them and then you get better and you better and you always can go in, pick out something new to improve on, and then go into the matchmaking and then actually act that out, and then you'll see yourself improve because you can just consistently like build up from the same foundation. When you're playing either like super like worse players or players that are way better than you, there's no consistency. Like you're either adapting to just destroying them and like screwing around, or you're getting your ass kicked, and there's no easy way to learn from that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's my biggest struggle too, is with, because I guess I've only taken Halo really seriously within the last, like 6 months to a year or so. So that's like been my biggest struggle, I guess, is even in custom games. Like usually custom games, I know that you were gonna kind of segue into custom games too. Custom games for me are really difficult as well. Like it's that way to set up competition, but a lot of times the people that run customs regularly are at a much, much higher skill level than me,
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I've been trying so hard recently to bring as many new people into custom games as possible, because I think there's a lot of people out there who maybe don't have like the best skills. Like there's great players, there's average players, there's new players but they all want to play competitively. And for a lot of them, because of that same situation you're explaining with like the disgusting gaps of skill, like they don't have that. There's not that offering for them in matchmaking. So the only place they can go to do that is custom games. Like custom games are where the competitive games happen in Halo 4. And not all these players have the resources to get connected in that way. So like I want to try to bring as many people as possible in there. So like you said, if you come into a custom game and there's just a bunch of people in there who are better than you and you're not able to get a chance to learn because you're just getting your ass kicked over and over, it's not fun, it's not productive. But bringing in more people, maybe a mixed different types of skill, like there'll be ways to learn from different types of people.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be cool
to kind of develop, like you said, that baseline.
Exactly. So I think that ranks are something that are just absolutely essential for future Halo titles, because that's, like you said in your video, that's the basis of what Halo became known for. That is how it differentiates itself.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think a lot of Halo players, or maybe not a lot of Halo players, but there are definitely a portion of Halo players out there who don't have a lot of experience with other shooters. But I can say from like playing a lot of different shooters, I've probably played like every FPS online that you can play under the sun, and like no one else cares about ranks because all of that, like I said, all of their games are based on stomping worse players. If you play Call of Duty, it's based around getting your high streak and using that to stomp on another player. Battlefield, you can get in that chopper, and there's not a lot that an uncoordinated team can do to take down a chopper in like Battlefield 3 or something like that. So Halo is one of those games where it's always been, like you said, the even playing field, and your skill is what differentiates you.
Yep, and that's what makes Halo so damn cool.
Agreed. So yeah, that was me and Delementary, a dual com recording for Project Onyx. I hope you guys enjoyed. There will be more of these coming in the future, and stay tuned for more Project Onyx content. See you guys later.
See ya. Hell yeah.